One, two, three, four.
Oh shoot, I forgot to hit the go live on Facebook. Okay, so the go live just started, so that works. Hey, welcome back to Judging Bouncing Balls. 1 week off and we're back ready to rock and roll in this festive season. Toby, how the heck are you?
Good, good. Need a little break, had to get into the festive cheer of Christmas, get some family stuff. So it's good to be back. I had to hit the road to get into the studio, the West Coast studio here in Menominee, Wisconsin.
That's right. Beautiful Menominee. It's where all
Yeah,
the holiday travelers go.
well, it's just that's business class. We're out here grinding, staying at the Best Western, had a little Applebee's. Hello,
Ooh,
nothing but the best. Um, Good night's sleep tonight. Back on the road in the morning.
look at you, just grinding. That's people just see you, they're like, wow, Toby's a grinder. That's all he is.
Gotta pay for these damn kids.
Isn't that the truth? Man, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
they keep finding new ways to spend money, don't they?
Oh, wow. Like, we'll get into Christmas a little bit. But holy cow. I mean, $100. What does that get you? Half a pair of leggings these days with the old Lululemon?
Oh,
What a
Lulu,
joke.
Lulu's crazy, man. I talk about a great investment. Whoever came up with that idea, like, hey, we can spend a few dollars on polyester and then we can charge $100 for it. Amazing
I know.
business plan.
Or even better, let's take a Yeti cup, change the name to Stanley, charge $10 more and be like, we're new, folks. Oh, since
Hey,
everybody's
speaking of
got their
which,
Stanleys.
have you seen those videos where they're making fun of moms that walk around with Stanleys and those dudes have like the water jugs, like the full 3 gallon water jugs, and they're walking around like it's a Stanley, sipping on it. Oh, dude, those are hilarious.
I'll have to look that up because that is
Yeah,
classic. Because I
they're
mean, they just keep getting bigger.
yeah, yeah, they're pretty massive. But hey, that's good. But you gotta stay hydrated, right? We just learned coming back from Florida. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You gotta stay hydrated. So these moms and dads are just trying to stay hydrated, doing what they can.
Yeah, turn the phone off here. Volume up, right? See if anybody's joining us. Texting live. We got to hear from people.
That's
It's
right.
kind of interaction show. Hey, by the way, before we
Yeah.
get too deep, the last podcast we did with Dr. Harold Schock kind of went viral. I mean,
A little
compared to
bit.
whatever I'm used to. I mean, 1,000+ views, viewers. I don't know, impressions.
Hey, it helps when Bayview or Baycare, sorry, Baycare says, shares it out. That didn't hurt us.
Oh no, but I was thinking that if they would have continued, like we could have been from the Baycare Studios in Menominee, Wisconsin. But now I can't. I can't do it.
That's
There's
right. I
no
mean,
point. Like,
we're still open. Don't get me wrong. We haven't
yes.
closed the door. Wide open.
Oh, all, all the doors are open. And I don't even know what it's going to take, like to name the studio after you. It's pretty cheap. I'm going to be honest with you. They always say the first one in gets the best deal.
That's right. That's right. You want to be the first mover in this situation.
Okay. The word to the wise, get in now. But we also had all these people, and we only have like 90 followers. Like, how people hit a like button. Like, come on. What are
It's got to be
we
a way to make that
doing?
happen. Yeah. Well, I think if we boosted the posts and then had the interaction that we desired be the like button, that'd probably work. So.
You gotta pay to boost. We got no coin. We got kids, yo.
But people could always give us stars, and that allows you to pay us if you want to hit the little star button. Then you could pay us. I mean, that works too. But I don't know
I,
where the money goes because we don't have a bank account tied to this. So Facebook's
I
probably just
just
taking it all.
do I have to like set up stars? I'll send us some stars.
No, I don't
Are
know.
they
It
do
says
they cost
it
money?
says that it's open. I don't know. I just clicked on it. It says it's good, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it says I can send 200 stars to
Oh, boy,
comment. I'm telling you, people, you don't need 200 stars. You can just comment tonight. It is free tonight.
dang right. And I hear
Free.
Coach Sean told me that he wanted to make fun of us mainly, and so I told him we were going live at 7. So I expect Coach Sean to be on and giving us the business. Let's put it that way.
It's interesting he won't come on. I'd like to have him on. It's an entrepreneur ice cream mogul of the Appleton area.
Yes, a
Um,
little bit of inspiration for me.
right? Hey, by the way, you have launched another podcast without me.
Well,
Just gonna say, but I get it. On finance tips.
yeah, it's basically for my class. I mean, so one of the things that I kind of heard is that, I get parents that, and we actually have a community that still doesn't know that we teach personal finance at Spash. And so I thought maybe this would be a good way to do a little community outreach, kind of like give them little topics of what we're doing in class. I'm going to probably promote it out through to our parents and hopefully they'll share it. So it's just something to kind of let them know what we're talking about in the classroom. It's a little glimpse into the world without them actually being there. So. I don't think it's going to make any money, so don't worry.
Well, you do now have one follower on Instagram.
And that's the only. So, anyways, we'll see. I've got to promote it yet. I haven't done anything with it, but it's a work in progress. Let's say.
So for the fans out there, I did offer to bring some insight, and at this time, Jeremy just said he's going to get up and running before I get to talk to the children about
That's right.
stories.
We can't wait.
How to spend €50 in a beer tent in Germany, children.
No, they were euros when you were there. They were francs.
They were francs, 4 francs to $1, and you can get a
Yeah,
beer for 4 francs. Good beers too, delicious beers. But I see Sean is on tonight, so
Woo.
yeah, he was down in Florida. Uh, Eric, Dusty, and Coach Drew. We had our we'll back it up, right? We made it to the National Pro. What do we want to call that? Call it like the regionals and the state basketball tournament. Like it's first round, and there's 2 more rounds. So you have it's well, sectionals, semis, finals. So we're in the sectionals, right? 4 teams in our bracket. Wow. Get there, first team doesn't show. Athens. We were
They were
gonna
scared of us.
pound. We were gonna pound Athens, no doubt about it. They don't show 1-0 victories, but we get a chance to play Mississippi, one of the best teams in Mississippi. Very good team.
Very good.
Very nice parents. If you get a chance and you want to listen to that game, we actually had a Mississippi father join us to um, and discuss Southern soccer. We're actually thinking about getting him on the podcast.
It'd be nice. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, have a reach out since now we're Facebook friends. I don't know what the next step is in the dating world, but we'll get him.
I think you have to swipe right. I don't know.
So we come out of Mississippi with a 2-0 loss, but it was a we're gonna call it a friendly because that's what they call it, but it was a scrimmage. Um, we gave up a handball in the box penalty. That's a goal. Uh, what did you think of their goalie,
She was
Mississippi's goalie?
She was a tall drink of water. She was really tall and she moved very well. I would not be surprised if there was some people looking at her at a pretty high level because she seemed like a pretty good athlete to me. And I don't know what her. I mean, obviously she's only what 15, 16, probably 15. She could really turn into a heck of a goalie by the time she's ready to go to college.
There was a scout that ran out after the game and shook her hand.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's a good point. And she is, yeah, as Sean said, very similar to the Galaxy goalie. Yeah, she's talented, very talented.
yeah, but yeah, she and we tried to go upper, whatever that means, and she just kept getting her big claws, and she caught everything. I think those gloves are full of stickum.
Maybe.
Yeah, we got to get some
Little,
stickum.
little gamesmanship. That's okay though.
Yeah. So we come out of Friday, really good spirits because actually, technically, it's a W because Athens didn't show and we would have pounded them like we stated. So then we get Germantown out of Tennessee. I don't know where Germantown, Tennessee is,
No
but
clue.
they've got very good soccer players. Now, I will say we did not play our best. I think the heat got us. There were a number of factors. We're going to stop with number of factors, but there were a number of factors that got us on our heels. We did not play loon soccer, right? I mean, it was obvious we didn't possess the ball. Um, we did have one goal. One goal. We scored two goals. We had a goal on Saturday.
Hmm.
Macy got a goal, a fun little something she did and went in the back of the net, which was neat. But we played in kind of the stadium of Disney, which was pretty neat.
Yeah, don't undersell that goal. That was a really nice one out of the air. She kicked it out of the air and right into the would have been the upper 90s. So it was a good rip.
I did cut the film, I taped it, I got it saved, so it was a good goal. I will say that she kind of one touched it, bounced, and then yeah,
Boom.
did what her mom told her to do. Put it in the net.
That's right. By the way,
Um,
Germantown outside of Memphis. I just looked it up. So there you go.
so they're drawn from Memphis. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Yeah, yeah, they're pulling
Yeah.
big metropolitan area there.
But both Germantown and Mississippi have made it to the final weekend, is what I'm told. Like
Mhm.
they're playing in the final tournament, the final eight or whatever it is, to win the national
Hmm.
title. So these are two pretty good teams. So we got two, gave up another penalty in the box. We get one, and then we had a getting a penalty, and they made it on a kick. I don't know. At that point, it was 3-1, and the game was over.
Yep.
So Sunday we played Maryland. Uh, wasn't impressed with Maryland. They only had a few numbers, right? They had 13 players, they had two goalies,
Hmm.
so they were gassed. But we kind of just didn't have our game. We did get down a goal. Marley put a goal on the board to go 1-1, and then that was kind of just a
Yep.
stalemate from there.
I give them credit though. They played hard for being that only 13 players. I mean they didn't have a lot of subs, but the girls that they had they ran hard. So give them credit there.
Well, absolutely, they did. Excuse me. So we had 1-1-1. That's 4 points. Maryland also had 4 points. And so then it goes to goal differential, and we lost to Germantown 3-1, and they got beat 4-0. So we get the silver bracket, which means we move on to Tampa. So did Maryland, so did Germantown. Athens did not because they decided not to go. Um, which means February 23rd. And I guess the people want to know, Jeremy, is Amelia going to make it?
She is going to make it. I have responded on there. We just had to figure out a couple things. Yes, a couple things. So yeah, she will be there. We will not be there. Grandma and Grandpa have graciously offered to take because that's the only way it was going to happen. So we had to kind of work out with another party to get her down there. But yeah, we're going to get that reserved and yeah, get all the other logistics taken care of. But I did respond that she will be there. So
Fantastic. So we'll have 14, 15 players now. Um, I think, coming out of Orlando, everybody was kind of like, oh man, what are we doing? Why are we're throwing money, good money at bad. What are we doing? And I think people just needed to take a breath.
yeah,
That's what we needed. I should say but
yep,
we needed to just get home. We needed to take a breath. We needed to talk to Macy. We needed to see the pulse of what we were doing. And then
yep,
also I talked to you. I talked to a couple other people on the team and tried to get the pulse. And I think overall, this team is earned the right. And I think, for people that can't make it, I completely understand. Uh,
yep.
but I think to get, 13, 14, 15 girls, there are 309s joining us. Our fearless leader, Eric, has gone about and found girls, specific position girls, which is great.
Hmm.
So we will have a stack of young girls and the O8s, but I think the girls that they're bringing from the O9s are full capable of playing. So that's the exciting part. I think it's exciting for them.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a really cool opportunity, and yeah, it's going to be here before we know it, which is just crazy how fast days go. I mean, it's already been 2 weeks since we were down in Tampa. It seems
I
like,
know.
which is so. I'm sorry, in Orlando. So yeah, it's going to come up quick, and it's going to be a really great opportunity for them to. I feel like a lot of the girls felt like we didn't show our best down in Orlando, and so it's going to give them a chance to come out and really show, what this team's about. So second chance for redemption.
Yeah. Now, if we come, so it's an 18 tournament unfold. I reached out to resident Paul, who does the background checks and he's right most of the time, all the time. But he said it's an 18 tournament. Five teams are set. Three teams have yet to be decided. They'll be decided in January at the E64 National Tournament in Orlando.
Ooh,
Three teams will join the silver bracket, and then it's three games. You win all three, you move on. So that's an option. Now, there's another option to get to the finals, and that is by qualifying for regionals in July. June? July.
June.
June. So we have done that. And that is in Kansas City. So that one got a little farther.
And if I remember correctly, you told me that if let's just say we won out in Tampa, that we potentially wouldn't even need to go to regionals, correct?
So that is my take. Now I was informed that the club has to send a team. So
Gotcha.
going back
So we'd
going
still
back
go.
to your statement of yes, we would be there.
Yes.
But
Okay.
we wouldn't need to win it. We've struggled at regionals. Like that's not I truly am convinced the clear path for us to get to nationals is through Florida.
hmm I would agree with that based on what we've had in regionals so far. But we've gotten better
Yeah.
when we've gone to regionals, I thought. I know last year was maybe a little bit of an aberration. But I still feel like we've gotten a little bit better the times that we've gone down.
Right. And I thought we got hosed on our seating last year.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, playing Galaxy and the Michigan Tigers, going to. I mean, they kind of get kicked in the teeth a little bit. But and it's 4,000 degrees in that sweat box, which is nice. We're going farther south.
Yeah, it's gonna even be better. Well, that's awesome.
TFPM. So those are the options of the mighty Oilers. Now, I think we'll get through this year. And I think the club is sending, let's throw it out there. We've now qualified for Orlando in 2024. So,
I gotta get that. You gotta get that money maker going, whatever that is. I don't know yet.
oh, Baker, where are you when we need you, baby? Come on now.
My wife informs me OnlyFans is not gonna pay off for me. Whatever it takes to get our kids to Orlando.
Well, I've been selling pictures of my hands online and nobody bought one of them.
What the heck? Uh,
And like Sean said, for next year for Orlando, we have the nines, the eights, and then the 6-7 combo, I think.
ooh, that's awesome.
Right? Because the sixes are in that college age. 09, 08, oh, think of that. 06, 07.
Look at
Nailed it.
you. Look at you. It's
Pay
like you're on the
attention.
board or something.
When Coach Sean speaks, I listen, especially when he's
Dang
ordering
right.
scotch, and I'm really paying attention. So, and then the tens are in second place going into round two, their spring season. So hopefully they can get it going. And I think the 11s have an opportunity. I mean, we're already pushing the 11s into this ball game, right? We used to be the young ones.
Correct. Yeah, isn't that something that what you just listed off as the embarrassment of riches for the club? The club's doing great. I mean, a lot of almost at every level, we've got every age group, we've got really competitive teams, which is only going to help us down the road, as I understand it. I could be wrong on this, but isn't that kind of what certain leagues look at as your depth, top to bottom? boys and girls, like you got to be competitive in a lot of different areas before they'll let you participate in either certain tournaments or certain leagues, correct?
Correct. So that's where we went from like Wine to
Hmm.
Clubby Club, and we won that. Now we were the eights, we're the only one that won it, but we had some teams that were very qualified to be there. And then so we went to E64 regional, and our goal is to get to E64 national. Now I guess there's a hiccup. I was told because there'll be four teams from Wisconsin, and they can't have that. Too many Wisconsins. So I don't know. When you're the best in Wisconsin, you think they'd be like, "Hey, we're going to move you out." So I think it might not be this year, but hopefully within time. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
we'll see too much more. I mean, we're kind of at the end of our rope, right? And we have
correct,
two
correct.
years left. Um, so, and now we moved. I mean, if it wasn't for Florida, we'd be on high school mode,
True.
you know? So, this is good. The nice thing was this week and last week, I mean, we really took some time off to think, and now we're back at it January 2nd. And we've been going since January 2nd. So, past 2 weeks have been enjoyable, really zen-like.
It hasn't slowed down for me.
I can't imagine. Can't imagine.
It, it is, yeah, I wish I could say the same, but I mean, yeah, it's nice when they do get a little break. I think it's always good for whatever sport you play, get a little respite, get a little time away from it, just because there's a lot happening in the season, and it's good to step away and just kind of reflect on what's happened. So from that side, it's a good thing.
My daughter's doing workout Tuesday, Thursday with one of her high school teammates, and then she works at the soccer facility. So
Nice.
I drove down to the field the other day just to see it. Did a flyby. Got bored.
Hey, just out of curiosity, I mean, not that you got to give away the secret sauce to Bayport's success, but do they have captains meetings like or captains practices?
We do nothing. I think the success of the Mighty Bayport is we don't do anything till tryouts,
Okay, interesting.
which blows my mind. It blows my mind because I know you hear about the piers up and running. I think Notre Dame has already started talking. Now we do Synergy. That's our indoor
Hmm.
facility. So Macy does that, but she does it with another teammate. So she's not a fan, like a big group workout person. So what's a couple more dollars, Jeremy, when you can train alone?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're trying to resurrect captain's practice here for Spash. Even though we can only do it in a gym, it's just something to get the girls together. And I tell you, we need touches. It's something, I think you guys are lucky enough that your girls touch the ball a lot regardless. Ours don't always. And so we're trying to get some more touches on the ball. So trying to do captain's practices, got the gym reserved here on for once a week and just, let the girls get together. I get to be there, but I can't do anything, obviously. You just make sure that nobody gets hurt. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes.
The benefit of Bayport is the loons are a big feeder into the program. I mean, our
Yeah.
'06 team, our starting seniors all play '06 loons, and most of them have now signed with colleges. So that's a big
Yeah.
deal. So we could talk
Yep.
about getting together all we want, but I know this year group of seniors is very into it. I think they'll start to get going here.
Hmm.
There's some leagues around for schools, but we haven't had time. I mean, we're what we start up already in February or January, and you
Yeah.
best be practicing as much as we can with the girls we're going to Tampa with. So, because that's all we're doing. We're not playing another sport like you. I mean, Amelia's in hockey, and that takes up a ton of time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we were just saying before we started. I mean, we were looking at the schedule, and it's 5 days a week, sometimes six. So there's not a lot of off days, but Sundays are usually pretty even or open, and that's where we do our captain's practices on Sunday nights. So it just kind of works out. And I figure if people are doing something on the weekend, at least they're back home ready for school the next day, so we can get them in the gym.
It's that teacher in you. Always worried about the education.
Right. Yes.
But so I kind of wrapped up our Orlando trip. You know, it was. I think the club's going to learn a lot from the '08's first trip. I think there's a lot of discussions being had. I think there were some frustrations coming out from the club side. I think I took full blame for my child and the point of, I think it is not a vacation. It's hard to say that, right, when you're
Yeah.
spending that kind of money. But at the end of the day, well, you were on my flight going out. We get to the airport at 6 o'clock for a 6:40 departure, land at 10, and the fuel pump is bad on the airplane. So we sit around for 2.5 hours, and then they inform us that your airplane is capable of flying. It just does not have enough fuel to get to Orlando.
The part that I enjoyed the most about that is they kept announcing, "We're just looking for somebody to sign off that we can still fly it." And in your head, you're thinking, "Oh my God, they're getting somebody to like, yeah, I think this plan will work. Whatever." They're just getting some dude to, "Yep, this works."
So we take off, and then we land in Nashville for a half hour while they pump fuel onto the airplane. We can't get off. It was okay. I mean, we got in at midnight. No, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah,
We got to the hotel for 3, and that's it's hard to. My daughter fell asleep right away, but it's hard to like sit on the sidelines and scream at your kid. Do better. I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't give her the Red Bull or anything, and maybe I should have really looked into that. Uh, I was too busy enjoying Mickey pancakes or whatever we were eating down in the lobby. Holy cow, we got to stop right here. So I understand that Disney is a big deal to people,
No,
but you got to be kidding me. There were like moms and daughters. Everybody's got ears on in the hotel. Same for like this is a big deal. And then every dad was just like, you have to be kidding me, right? He had carrying 4 bags they bought. Every little kid had like a laser from Star Wars. I don't know what kind of money people drop there, but it is impressive.
it's ungodly. It's yeah, it's crazy. It is it's a dream for Disney because you get all those kids in there, just captive parents. They, "Mommy, can we get it? Can we get it?" Then they just scream if they don't.
Well, we went into Disney Springs Saturday night and you guys were with us, and we
Yep.
sat that table. We're having a burger, and I look to my right, and there is probably a 1-year-old playing in the dirt, right? Mom, who doesn't look over 24, picks said child up by the arm. She's drinking a,
Beverage.
I'm going to say beverage, sets said baby on lap, big swig, sets down, burger, yells a little bit, and this continues the conversation. I am like mind blown at how amazing people watching is. That's one of my passions.
Disney's
Judging
a great
people.
Disney's a great place for it, man. I mean, they say the happiest place on earth, which is I think kind of a tongue in cheek because you'll never see more screaming kids and grumpy parents than you'll ever see at Disney.
Every dad had a beer. Every dad had a beer. I was just like, I get it. I get it. Because every dad was just like, oh, doesn't matter. They were 15 a crack. It didn't matter. He's like, I'm so broke after this.
Yeah, and for those that you've never been to Disney, it's the thing about it that really wears on you, at least for me, is, and then everybody is, you get there at the butt crack of dawn, right? You're trying to rush in, and you're always got this itinerary. You got to go here, you got to go here, because if you don't, you're going to miss the ride, and you're going to have to wait for 4 hours. And so then you're constantly stressing out about getting into the park. You got to go here, got to tell everybody. And then when you get it, it's like, where do we go next? And it's like this constant, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. And then by the time you're done, it's 11 o'clock at night. You're exhausted because you've just been out in the blazing heat all day running around from place to place, and it just, yeah, it's nuts, man. It is a rat race.
People love it, and I think it's great. Like I don't, I just love watching people struggle and yell and scream, and then the next day they're like, "Let's do it again."
Let's go. Yes,
Shanta
and
said he
Shanta's
saw
correct.
that the '08 sidelines for people watch. Oh yeah,
People watching is
yeah.
great.
You could tell I was from Wisconsin by the whiteness in my legs.
Well,
Whoa.
you can tell we're in Wisconsin because we're all wearing shorts and t-shirts. Dude, one of the funniest pictures my buddy that I went and saw down there as well. He posted a picture of when we said goodbye to them on Sunday. They had full like pants and coat, and we're in flip-flops and t-shirts. And they're like, "Yeah," because for us, 60 degrees is like this is pretty nice. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool."
Did you see last Saturday when it was in Orlando?
No,
There was I think it was the Armed Forces Bowl game. It was a monsoon at 62 degrees. They had like inches of rain. Like it was like a
wow,
hurricane style. Orlando was just I'm like, we would have dominated.
man.
Everybody been out there in like parkas and like we'd have been out in shorts and
See, that's what we
kind of
needed. We
makes you
needed
mad.
a snowstorm, or like a dusting to come in, like 40-degree weather, just freak everybody out. And we'd have been like at home, just chilling on the
Yes,
sideline.
right?
God,
And I don't
that's
think
what
we're
we
gonna get
needed.
that in Tampa either.
Yeah, probably not.
The last thing I would do is spend that money and go down to a snowstorm. I'll be honest with you.
That's true. But anyways, back to your point. Yes, I think everybody learned a lot in Orlando, personally, club wise. I mean, there's anytime you do anything for the first time, it's or first or second time, there's always going to be growing pains. It's just the reality of life. So I think that's not always a bad thing. It's just the way that it is, and we're no different. So
Well, it was interesting. What did the Mississippi Senate and Germantown after the game? They're like, "All right, get back. Your uniform goes to Sarah. She's gonna get them washed. Everybody drank chocolate milk. They took ice baths, and then they did compression shots."
yeah,
I'm like, "That's impressive." But the guy that joined us, that was their fourth year, right? They knew what they were
right,
doing.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and
I
he
went
said their
down
first few years they didn't do they were kind of like deer in the headlights. It didn't go well for them.
right. I didn't take an ice bath. I went right down to the lobby and sat and drank beer and still stood outside. Like I didn't know. I
Right.
figured I was an athlete. As an athlete, I don't need to be drinking no chocolate milk. You drink Jolt.
Seems like we could get chocolate milk sponsor. The club could. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Seems like the
Hemp's
club could get
chocolate milk.
like, and everybody gets a chocolate milk. I mean, they do it for the WIA. I mean, I don't see why the club wouldn't be able to reach out to the dairy association and be like, "Hey, you got a great opportunity here. We have 1,000 players. We could slap up some stuff at the complex." I mean, there's got to be some ching there.
Oh my God, yeah. You know how many chocolate milks they would sell? Even at me and
Yeah,
you.
that's right. Sell them at the concession stand. They give them to us for a
Yeah,
nice price. It's got to happen.
we got to make that happen.
And
I
I
mean,
get a
we're
little cut of
ideas
that for
guys.
I. I got to get a cut for that, right?
At least 2 cents every
At least
carton of 2 cents.
it's more than I had.
Oh, yeah. Then we have holiday coming up, the Christmas holiday.
Yes, everybody's
So
favorite, Christmas.
you still have young ones, right? With Oliver.
Yeah, he's just turned 9. We just celebrated 9 for Oliver 2 days ago. So he still gets into it, still enjoys it. Amelia loves Christmas. They all love Christmas. What's not to love about Christmas when you're a kid? You get free
Doesn't
stuff.
love Christmas,
You,
right?
you don't have to go to school. It's like everybody just caters to you. I mean, what's not to love? Honestly, as a parent, that's where it's like, ugh.
It's like every day you're buying something. And then my wife's like, I feel bad. Like my daughters are 15 and 18, right? I told her, and I told my daughter, when I was 18, I got like a pair of jeans, like a shirt. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. I don't know. These lists are ridiculous. Like I would like Lululemon, and then I want Stanley, and then and I'm like, you're out of money.
Nonetheless,
You just,
what
oh,
are you gonna do?
well, Macy's in New York right now. She flew to New York this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my sister took her.
Jeez.
like kind of a she wants to do a trip with each of my daughters, and Macy wanted to do New York and winter, so she's at Back to the Future play right now, living their
Hmm.
best life.
Well, good for
I'm in
her.
Menominee, yeah, I'm in Menominee grinding, and my wife's watching the dog at home by herself. Like
She just joined too, so Jackie's checking to see how you're doing.
it's still alive in '05 out here in Menominee.
uh, that's good. Well, good for
It's
Mace. I
kind
hope
of
she has
a
a good time.
yeah. Oh yeah, she's gonna have a blast. They're doing it all. She come back Friday morning, so they got 3 nights of New York cheer.
That's
Excuse
awesome.
me. So
Good
yeah,
stuff.
and then do you do anything big for the holidays?
No, honestly, we are not this year, which I'm okay with. We're going to be around here. I have to work a couple games. We have the Century Classic in Stevens Point. It's where a bunch of basketball men's and women's come together. I get to work one of those, a couple of those games, and make sure that no unruly parents or anything like that. So that'll be fun. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot. We're going to just kind of hang out, and we've got practices, obviously. And Amelia has a tournament down in Madison called the Culver Cup. So there's going to be, I think, 2 or 3 hockey games down there over the break, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Good stuff. So
Yeah, I just noticed Matt Getch joined, and Matt, I will get a hold of you. We kind of did this on the fly tonight, but Matt's going to join us hopefully next week. A new sport we'll discuss Green Bay rugby. Matt was the one that got me into rugby at U of Milwaukee, and then he helped start high school rugby in Green Bay, and then he helped facilitate, and they built and got a field up and running. So at the rugby grounds in Green Bay. So he will be a great guest from that aspect. So that'll be next week. So um, we're excited. I'm excited for that. So that's kind
nice.
of my athleticism, collegiate athlete
That's right.
kind of.
So hey, I actually have a topic that we could spend a little bit of time on because it is involve youth sports. I actually went to a sportsmanship summit a week ago, which was really interesting, hosted by the WIAA with the guy with the purpose of trying to find ways to be more sportsmanlike and to potentially root out derogatory chants towards opposing players. Okay, so that's kind of the mindset. So now the question that I would have is, you're sitting there thinking about what is too far then, like what is, and we talk about this for on our sidelines. Obviously, you want to be positive. Obviously, you don't want it to be anything derogatory towards another player, especially on the other team. And that's really what they're talking about is like, how can we cheer for our team? And they had some really good speakers in there, guys that have written books and all kinds of stuff. Um, and I'm just kind of curious, like what exactly are you running into over at Bayport or in stuff that you've seen for high school sports? Do you see that stuff declining? I know from having to manage the games, and I'm just going to give you my little piece of experience that I've run into is depending on who you're playing, it's easy. Like kids are great, never do anything, but we just had an incident here where it's like there was a little bit of bad blood between one of the players and one of our fans because they were exes and from the other school. And so then instantly this becomes like revenge game, like the fans trying to get after the player, and that's kind of considered targeting. So are you guys running into that where you see the fans targeting the other players on the team, or are they cheering for Bayport?
I'll be honest, I don't go to many events. I did
Okay.
go. So our friend's son plays basketball at Preble, and they played Notre Dame on Friday night at Notre Dame. So we went, and I was very surprised at the short hook of the ref. So one of the Preble kids said something. Now probably wasn't great. I mean, it was demeaning
Yeah.
in some way. I think he said it to the ref, but it was stop game. You're gone. Um, I think they were looking for it. Like one ref had a grudge. You could see the anger starting to build in his face towards one of the coaches on Preble.
Okay.
I'm just sitting there just taking it in because I'm like,
Yeah.
it seems like he's gonna get the whistle going. But he said something to one of the coaches, and then he said something to a player, and then 2 seconds later there was a foul, and all of a sudden it was technical. Like, and I don't know behind the scenes. I was very surprised that it was that fast, that
Hmm.
he kind of worked himself into it. Now, kids today on social media, uh, I think it's bad, but it was bad when we were there.
Yeah. See, this is the part that I'm not sure about because I almost feel like back when we were younger, it was almost worse at the game. Like they were allowed to say things to people that maybe you today we'd be like, oh my gosh, you can't, there's no way. But now it carries over. It's not necessarily, sometimes it is at the event, right? It does happen. But now it carries over into the social media world and like the game's running or over. And it's just this pile on online that seems to be. And the other thing that I'm noticing that they're doing is they research everything about players, and then they go after their siblings, they go after their girlfriends, they go after their moms, they go after their dads. I mean, they're going after everybody because you can go on social media and find out who all these people are. Where when we were school, we didn't know who Bayport's star player's mom's name was. We we had no idea.
Right. Sean said cowbells. That's how old Sean is. The cowbells were the big deal. Just kidding, coach. Well, we had issue outside of, I had one of the kids that I knew, 8 year old. I mean, jumped on the hood of a Penning's car and punched the windshield, shattered it. Our hockey games had the sheriff at. Um,
Wow.
Things would get out of hand, but I think the social media aspect is everything. Like you said, you can find anything out,
Yeah.
and you can get down to, I mean, someone could look it up, and I'll be honest, I'm 6'1", buck 82. It is what it is. If you want to call me out on it, you got to call me out. I mean, I'm an
Yeah.
athlete, so dollar 80, 180 pounds. It is what it is. Um, but it's such a thing where one little thing, it's just like a thing of gas waiting to explode, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the game where the X's were there,
Yeah.
his buddies were in the stands just waiting for one thing, and then it just turns into this instant explosion.
Yeah. For
I mean,
sure. And
did you see Tulsa East with Tulsa West game? That ended in a
no,
fight. They were pulling hair, like female fighting. The kids were
really.
fighting. It was terrible.
When
Terrible.
was this? Because I'm not going to lie,
Just
the
recently.
because the group that was at the sportsmanship summit was Wauwatosa West. They were the lead speakers on how to do a good job in the stands.
I'm
Okay,
almost positive it
that's
was
kind of
Tulsa
funny.
West versus, yeah. I'm sure that's their big rival, right? It's separated by um, bridge, but
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's Tulsa East and West. What
So,
Max
and
saying?
here's
Culture, trash
Max.
talking the sport. Go ahead.
Max brings up a really good point. Of all the games that I watch and manage, hockey tends to be one of the worst. A, because they're right on the rink. There's a culture of like aggressive and physical play, and so the fans kind of take that on. Now, the other side that I've identified of why hockey tends to be a little bit worse, when hockey's in season, guess what sport isn't in season?
Football.
Football. And so you got football players in the stands, right? These big, they like to be aggressive, like hits. They get fired up when that stuff gets aggressive, right? And so as soon as that happens, they tend to get a little, little wired up. So I think that's part of it. But man, it was, it's it's hard to try to control because they can get out of hand really quick. And if we don't do anything as a game administrators, I found out during the game where the X's were at, where the X was playing on the ice and the other X was in the stands. The mom of the player was looking for me because she was so pissed about what was happening in the stadium because they were doing a chant. So, just a little background on it. He apparently posted pictures. He's a model of himself online in his underwear. And so then they were chanting tidy whities. And so at some level, you're kind of like, okay,
Brilliant.
yeah, but it's targeting, right? You're going after a player, which is not allowed by the conduct. So we have to come out and say, yeah, you can't do that. We're trying to shut it down. The mom's upset because she's like, what's going on? In my head, I'm like, why are you posting pictures of yourself online? And it's this big,
Start.
big snowstorm, right? Everybody's like on edge. I don't know how you stop it. Like we do the best we can, but we have to do something because if we don't do something, people get all upset. So I don't know. It's just a
Well,
weird.
they're looking for you to change it, but the parents, I mean, I've seen hockey parents get into it with high school kids, like come to
Oh, for sure.
shoves and almost blows, right? Which doesn't
Yeah,
really happen in more or less basketball or soccer or even football. But
correct.
hockey, you're right about hockey. Big hits, fast action, people are
Yeah,
amped up. So
they're amped.
I think, yeah, I think hockey is a different breed altogether. I think, you don't get a lot of fighting in the stands in football. Um,
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like I was saying to somebody in our school, I'm like, man, we had such a great football season. Lots of kids were in the stands. Nobody was doing crazy chants. Football does all these chants where they're more directed at our team than the other team, and then we go to other sports and it's like instantly focused on the other team, other team, other team, and it's like, why can't we just do what we did in football and move it over?
right. Do you notice a decline though in kids going to um, games, or is you
Depends on the
because
game.
Thatcher's kind of a smaller community than maybe than a Green Bay or something. But I've noticed it, like the Bayport or the Preble Notre Dame game, we're talking 15 kids on each side. And that's
Uh,
terrible.
we we're doing better than that. Like for the game that I'm referring to, there it was so amped, it was so amplified and so spread that for this game that they knew that this was going to be, this is happening, that this X was on the ice. We probably had, I'm just thinking, there's 10 rows there and they were all full. So you're probably 150, 200 students. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a lot of students there, and then the stadium was it's a rival school, so there's a lot of people there. So it was a packed house. I mean, it was and but a lot of the time there's some games like I just saw our girls game was on tonight. There was probably only 20 fans there, and they're at least 500. They're not horrible. So
But I noticed too, I went to a couple of volleyball games last year, and there's like 20 kids on each side for volleyball. And they're screaming.
mhm,
Like they are
yeah,
yelling at the other team. I mean, just like Bobby Newton, like we used to yell Noonan, right? They're yelling
yeah,
all kinds of, and I'm like, it's volleyball. Just watch. Like I'm super old now. But like, can we just sit and watch a game? I mean, do we have to
no,
yell at every player every
yes,
time they try to hit the ball?
yes. And by the way, the Noonan call is a really good call.
I think so. Kids don't know what it's like their heritage.
They have no idea. But to answer your question, yeah, and that's where we actually pulled some students aside and talked to them before this game ever happened, and we're trying to tell them that you can't go after the player, you can't go after the other team. Just focus. And they're like, why? Everything's gotten so soft. We should be able to. There's like it's part of the environment to be able to go and make fun of kids. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're trying to promote here. Like we're trying to
Right.
get you to stop. And they're like, well, why can't we say things about their moms? I'm like, because you can't. It's not how it works. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Like it things are different, but they're still the same, to 20 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, but if you were a proud back, I mean, when I was in high school, there were fist fights, right? There weren't a lot of them. Actually,
Yeah.
we had a disciplinarian at Connection where I went, where he would, if you found out you were going to fight, he would take you in the weight room, put boxing gloves on, and shut the doors. And he said, 80%, 90% of the time, you wouldn't fight, right? You take the crowd out of it,
Right.
and everybody's like, well, why are we going to pound each other with gloves on? So it just kind of dissipates. But when you get it usually takes
Yeah.
one kid who's not even a hockey player, right, or a fan.
Right.
He shows up and he is just not paying attention, and then all of a sudden, yeah, somebody's like, "Hey, that's Darren's mom," and that's his sister. And Darren's mom works here, and all of a sudden he chirps, right,
Yeah.
and then usually it just explodes. And here, this kid has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the parents don't even have to be there. They just start chanting their name, which is crazy. So, yeah.
To be
It's a
honest,
wild world, man.
impressed. I know. Like we heard some stuff in our day that I won't repeat, but
Ooh,
I remember
yeah.
sitting in the stands and I'm like even back in the '90s, you're like I don't know if that's right.
Probably wasn't.
I did, oh, I did not see it. Paul, fan of the show, good friend, at the high school where his kid goes to, was playing Notre Dame. And this sign, I think it's fantastic. I graduated from Notre Dame. I went to Catholic school my whole life. Pulaski had a sign that just said, Jesus loves us for free, which is genius
Yeah, that's a good one.
because it doesn't say anything about Notre Dame. It just
Correct.
states that we don't need to be paying for no school because God loves us for free. And I think it's great.
That one actually, I would agree, and I would if somebody had that, I would probably let that one go because it's not it doesn't show anything.
So the other one is in football. Do they dress up? Is there a theme night?
Yeah, there's usually a theme for most almost they every school does the like tropical, the USA, and it's just jersey, it just rotates.
So it's funny because when Bayport plays Notre Dame, it's Notre Dame or Bayport dresses up like Treppies and Notre Dame dresses up like Hicks. And I'm like,
Hmm.
doesn't make much sense anymore, right? And then if you play Pulaski, people wear camo, and I'm like, oh my God, we just do USA or neon. Like, and it's the
Neon,
same
yeah.
thing over and over again. I'm like, you're gonna go in your closet, you're gonna wear a button-down shirt, you're like, ooh, I go to Notre Dame. You just wait in your closet, you've got a button-down shirt. Like,
You own it.
you own it.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, the point of it is, I do think that I've softened on this a little bit. There is room to make sure that you're a good sport. Kids ask me like, how do I personally feel on it, and I always just I don't know. I do think that sometimes we got to take things a little less seriously, but in today's day and age, that's not always the case because the problem is as soon as you let something go, and I've found this as a game manager, as soon as you let something little go, right away they just amp it up. And so they're like, well, why are you telling us not to do that? I'm like, because if I let you do this, you're going to go next thing you know, and you're going to do something really crazy. And I'm going to be the guy that's getting yelled at by the parents.
Yeah, what did Max say? Volleyball can wear a helmet night. See, that's to me, like it should be mouth guard night. Like everybody has a mouth guard in.
Be harder to cheer, so they can't say things as easily. I'm okay with that.
But you have then again, go to a youth baseball game, go to a youth football game. It's not
Yeah,
kids. It is parents. Terrible parent. Now, I think we spend most of our time around the soccer field, and I think our parents are they're they cheer for their daughters, they cheer for the
right.
team, but we don't we take more heat for our parents cheering than we give out tenfold.
Agreed.
Now, I will say in the Milwaukee Wave game, I was bantering with the gentleman, but he did get the joke in the end, right? He said egregious and laughed. And I have a tendency to
Yeah,
go overboard. Tendency
that
to
was pretty funny.
once I see a crack in the armor, I go all in, and that's my fault. Which, by the way, I'm going to be honest, you not going to Tampa is a huge deal for me because
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
have a
fine.
Joe's not going.
Oof.
I'm like I'm by myself, and these lips start cracking. Sometimes, like you give me the nudge. You're like, hey, going down. Like you know where the mute button is.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna do great, and I'm sure somebody's gonna be there to keep you in line. So just have you know what you should do? Oh, Sean should join you. That's who
I
should
think
join
he's
you.
I think he's sitting on the bench though, like you did.
Yeah, I suppose.
Maybe Eric will join me. Seems like Eric
Ooh,
all riled up. Somebody needs to join me though. I'll see who's going. I wonder if
okay.
Jake is going.
There you go. Oh, I
Jake
bet
would
he
be a
is. Get
yeah.
Zaluski out there.
His player's back, coming off for
Yes.
ACL tear,
So
MCL
why don't
tear.
we end on that and talk a little bit
Yeah,
about Claire? That's exciting.
yeah. So she is like 1 year or something. I don't know the exact time
Yeah,
frame.
it was
But
February. She's actually, I think, at about 11 months.
okay. Um, but I saw that they had posted on Facebook that she got the green light to do organized activities. She was able to practice without contact. But
Hmm.
I think the veil has been lifted, and pull the car out of the garage and let her ride. Now, glad she has a month and a half. Um, you get, I think there's some mental side to that, don't you? I've never been through it.
Oh, if well, I've never been through it personally, but I've had multiple players that I've coached that have gone through it. And I'll just say this, like, the work that she had to put in, a lot of people don't see behind the scenes about how mentally grueling it is to go through an ACL and how much mental work you have to put in. I give her a lot of credit. Every time I've seen her, she's been bubbly, smiley. I'm sure that that's had moments where she's been frustrated, I'm sure, because everybody that I've known that's gone through it had moments of just utter frustration. So I can't tell you how excited I am for her to come back because, having Dr. Shock on last week, he'd be the first to be able to tell us about ACLs and how tough those are to come back from. It's a long, grueling process, and I'm sure she's got to feel really good. But yeah, there is a mental aspect. Everybody that I've coached that came back from them, and players that I played with that came back from them, you just are a little unsure about that leg for a little while, and it kind of just takes shaking the rust off. So I'm with you. It's good that she's got a month and a half, but then just that first game contact, you just are always in the back of your mind. At least the players I've coached, they always think about it. So I think that's going to be natural for her. But she's such a tough kid and such a positive kid. She's going to be able to bounce through that. I see no issues with her getting through and getting past it. It's just a matter of getting back on that horse, right? So she's going to do
Talking
it.
talking to Jacob Paul, I mean, she was grinding at Synergy. She was in advanced therapy. I mean, probably in the best shape, compared to
Yeah,
everybody, because she took it seriously, and that is amazing. Because I can see some
yeah.
kids being like, "That's enough." I mean, it is a lot.
It's a lot. So she's such an awesome player too. I mean, we're really going to benefit from her being back on the field. So kudos to her. It's just awesome that she's back. So good
Her,
for her.
her, her attendance was better than anybody on the team.
I
That's
know, and she couldn't
impressive,
even
right?
practice.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is impressive. I mean, that shows a lot about her commitment when you show up when you can't even play. She tried to find her role, whether it was shagging balls or just being somebody that could help out with whatever. She was awesome. It's good for her. I can't wait for her to get back on the field.
Yeah. No, that'll be exciting, and can't imagine what if Jake's down there, Paula, what those nerves are like too. I mean,
Oof.
if they lived it. I mean, she's
Yes.
a 14, 15-year-old young lady who had to be driven every day to Green Bay, to Appleton, and so I'm sure the
Yeah,
nerves will be there. But hopefully, Jake, if he's coming down, will join me, and
that'd be
I
great.
can uh, I can help him get through his nerves on the field with batting,
There you go.
or we can zoom you in.
Oh boy, that'd be something. I'll comment as much as I can. Yeah, let's put it that way. I'll be there as much as I can.
Just send the checkbook, will you please?
There you go. There you go. So you had I think promised the fans that we were going to share our best gift.
Yeah, I threw it out there for a little Christmas. I was hoping to get some
Ooh.
ahead of time, but again, nobody took me up on my offer. Very disappointed in the fans.
So drop it in
Um,
the comments right now. Your best gift, if you we'll share them out here. But what do you got for us?
so I think it was at the old house. So I was probably seventh grade, and I didn't get what I wanted. Like, not even close. Like, I had a list, I was dialed in, and I got nothing close to what I wanted. And I was, oh, so my dad's like, hey, clean up the paper, take it to the garage. And we had a detached garage back at the old house. So I'm moping, right? It's winter. I'm just like, this sucked. Like, Santa, you didn't, like, I was good. Like, only talking myself in this. And I opened the garage door, and there was this beam of light. And it was a 250R big red three wheeler. This thing was gigantic. It should have never bought it for us. My dad, he should have lost both his kids from buying this thing. We almost killed ourselves daily on this thing. He actually put a roll bar on the bottom, and I would roll this thing on top of me. We hooked my buddy Pete Minahan up with a rope and a sled, and I got him coming around the corner, and I gun it, and I forgot that the momentum of the sled will slingshot him,
The
dude.
centrifugal force.
I wrapped him around an oak tree so bad.
I just saw a video of that somebody doing that, and the dude just slammed into a like they went around
Dude,
a corner and he just slammed in. That's
remember
funny.
back then was we're not telling anybody. Like you're hurt, you just you
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that was a great gift.
That's
Death by three wheeler, but it was not it was fun.
yeah. That's awesome. I love it. So for me, just a quick backstory on this. So when I was a little kid, we grew up on a farm, and I loved tractors. That was like my thing. I played with tractors all the time. Just trying to be like your dad or whatever. And I still remember. I can't remember exactly how old it was. I want to say it was 8, because I know we were in our house before it burned down. So I know it was the Christmas before that, 1 or 2 years. And I just remember it was probably October. I would go with my dad when he had to go to the implement, which is where they get tractors repaired or you go get parts or whatever. And they would sell toys there. And so I just remember going in, and there was a toy tractor there that was it was a big dually tractor that was articulating, which means it turns in the middle, and it was a white. And so we're an Oliver family, and Oliver turned into white, Oliver tractor. And so I saw this thing and I was admiring it, but we didn't do a lot of gifts, honestly, as a kid. I don't remember getting many gifts, but this thing at the time in 1988 was $60, right? So this is an expensive tractor. It's an expensive toy. And I remember looking at it and like just staring there the whole time my dad's over doing whatever. And he must have seen it as well because he's seeing me stare at this thing. Well, fast forward to Christmas, usually at Christmas I get a pair of jeans, whatever. It farm stuff, it's just stuff to go out and work. And that thing was under the tree, and I still remember like opening that, like freaking out because I never would have thought that I was ever going to get that thing. That was pretty cool. And to this day, I told you we had a fire, our whole house burned down, and that thing took some hits in that fire. But I still have that tractor out in my barn. That was a pretty cool gift. And I was always amazed my dad like picked up on the fact. I just assumed he wasn't paying attention, but I give him credit. He bought it, and he knew I wanted it, so it was pretty cool. But I still have it to this day. It's needs a little work. It's kind of falling apart, but I'm not gonna let go of it. So
I didn't know your house burned down. Like
yeah, I was 10 years old.
pretty tragic though. Like the
Yeah.
homestead is gone.
You know what's crazy about that is there were probably 15 pictures of me before I was 14, and we lost probably half of them in that fire. So, I mean, I look at our kids now and I'm like, we take thousands of pictures, and we have so many pictures of our kids. You can run a movie reel and just see them develop. There's literally only a few pictures of me of my existence when I was a child. So we have a couple copies of them by like you took a picture of it, but yeah, I don't have many of them when I was a kid because we lost them in the fire, and it was a total loss. I mean, it was a big fire. It burned everything. It was a pretty big one. So yeah,
Man,
fun stuff.
I found a mattress in college in the street when the Packers won the Super Bowl, but that's not worried about it.
The cops didn't know. Uh,
Well,
let's see.
good. Well,
Nobody
I
shared their
know.
gifts. Come on.
They better like. Can you people just hit like on our Facebook page? We're at 90. We got to get to 100, and then we're gonna get a sponsor.
Big
I
things
just
happen.
know it. Yes.
Big things are going to happen when we start having likes.
I mean, there's so many opportunities out here to be sponsored.
Yeah. I
Ice
think we
cream
should get Sean a
places.
cowbell. That's what I think we should get Sean. Maybe a cowbell.
We've got like 6 at our house. I'll make sure he has a cowbell for Tampa.
You know what we need is a cowbell with the Loon logo right on it.
I think
Not a bad
Carrie might
idea.
have that, or Joe. Joe probably has a cowbell.
Joe probably
Everything he
does.
has is logoized.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, I better get back to the get out of the studio over here in Menominee, Wisconsin, and get back to my room. And
Dang right.
I'm gonna take melatonin tonight. I'm going to bed.
Well, good luck with all that.
I'll sleep in hotel rooms.
Yeah, we're gonna get ready here. Got to get up tomorrow. We get up early. It's Amelia and I do a workout for her for speed training in the morning, so we got to get up at 5. So I'm gonna hit the hay too.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably get up and have breakfast.
That boy. Get some eggs. Get some sausage in there.
Some powdered eggs. No, I get a cup of coffee at McDonald's, and I'm driving a big work van, so it's me and the
Ooh,
truckers.
that's awesome.
Just it's terrible. It's terrible, but it's just me and Netflix the whole way home.
Well, whoa. You don't do that when you're driving. Yeah. No.
You know, there's this
We need
it's and there's a FM radio. I mean, you want to struggle. Try finding a station out here in the middle of nowhere.
Spotify, man. You got to use Spotify. Get a good podcast and just zone out.
I'll get a podcast. I got some good podcasts I like listening to.
All right, good. All right.
Well, you enjoy the holidays and Merry Christmas to your family, and hopefully you get what you're looking for.
I, I won't get anything. Same to you. Merry Christmas to the Brostos. Merry Christmas to all the fans out there that are watching. We do appreciate you tuning in. All the 5 people watching right now, thank you. And we'll talk to you either next week or the week after.
Yeah, special guest, and we'll get back at it, have some fun, and on to 2024.
Sounds good.
All right, sir.
All right. See ya.
That